Hey guys, Sporefall here. Today they released patch 12.0.7 which has two new sources of player power, Sporefall and the Omnium Folio. Sporefall is a single boss raid that drops 298 gear. It is a relatively easy mythic boss. I would put its difficulty between Salhadar and Chimeras. I spent this morning pugging Sporefall in various groups. I started by forming my own pug on server up and we actually managed to get world second Sporefall on our 7th pull. After that I went on to join some other pugs and I had 29 wipes to 3 kills, so the average pug seems to spend 10 pulls per kill, which will probably be reduced once more people learn the fight. Rotmire is a heavy ad fight. The boss will spawn 2 ad waves that consist of 1 jellyfish, 3 shroomlings and 3 funglings, which each choose 1 player to fixate on. The goal is to not kill the shroomlings and funglings in the same spot or it will be a guaranteed wipe. The strat that I see most groups doing is they have the shroomling fixates stand under the boss and the fungling fixates go to a marker at range. The boss is dragged onto the first wave's jellyfish and then the second wave's jellyfish is ignored until all other ads are dead. DK grips are very useful to correct people's mistakes with ad positioning. And every 2 minutes the corpses turn into exploding mushrooms that must be killed. Generally 1 exploding mushroom will go off and everyone will use personals. After that the cycle resets and after 3 times of doing these waves into exploding mushrooms, the boss will be pretty much dead. This boss drops items at 298 eye level. There are 5 items on every class's loot table. There is a 298 haste mastery ring with a nature damage proc that does about 0.3% single target. There is a 298 mastery crit neck with a healing proc. This does about 1.3% of a healer's healing in raid. It actually also procs for DPS and can do up to 20% of a DPS self-healing and 0.5% of their damage. There are 2 298 armor type items for each armor type. For example, male has legs and boots. And there is a 298 trinket that is not great. It has the same stat budget as Heart of Wind, which is already a mid trinket, and it also procs stats that you don't want. Maybe it's okay for healers because of the leech. Altogether, these items come to being a 1.6% upgrade for me, but it could be closer to 2% for classes who like the stats more. You can bonus roll this boss. It will take 5 weeks worth of bonus rolls to get every item from it. However, this boss on Mythic does not have the standard Mythic lockout. Rotmire's lockout works like a heroic lockout, where you can kill the boss and then zone into someone else's instance and kill the boss again, without being able to roll on the loot. This does let you use bonus rolls multiple times per week if you have them saved up. I got a neck from my roll, and then I pugged the boss from a second time and got a ring from my second roll. It is unclear if this is intended, and I do not know if this will be fixed or not. Also, if you didn't know by now, this raid is an experiment for Flex Mythic and you can do it with between 15 and 25 players. It seems to be scaled easier on lower player counts. The second piece of player power released today is the Omnium Folio. To unlock it, do this quest chain in Silvermoon. It takes about 5 minutes and only needs to be done once. Your ults will automatically unlock it. This unlocks a talent pane UI that is accessible anywhere. The Omnium Folio is a permanently active damage proc and stat proc. It is time gated, so each week we will gain 1 more node in this talent tree. The nodes are not very even between each other. For the first week, we only have the first node, which is a damage proc that does about 0.4% single target. The fire one procs about 60% more than the void one, meaning you should probably play fire on every class. On the second week, we gain a very weak defensive choice node. On the third week, we gain a dot that does 0.2% single target. But on the fourth week, we get a much better power, which is a 78 proc of a secondary stat of your choice when the damage proc happens. This is about 120 secondaries on average, which amounts to about a 3% damage increase. And the fifth node doubles the damage proc, which adds another 0.4% single target. Meaning the only relevant part of the Omnium Folio will be released on July 7. Both the new raid gear and folio together will amount to approximately a 6% total damage increase from July 7 onwards. Also, the Omnium Folio is confirmed to be lasting the entire expansion, so it will most likely be built upon in future patches. One more thing in this patch is an update to target marker macros. They have added inbuilt functionality to bring back the old macro that did not overwrite existing markers. I recommend going into your current macro and adding a tilde before their number.